Good afternoon, or actually it's almost evening. This video, I will not make any promises as the length and duration, because my purpose of creating these videos and bringing it out to my audience, bringing it out to my community, to the people who are like-minded as myself, is to bring content and to add value. And sometimes you just don't have the ability to control and regulate that within the time, at least for right now, for me. But anyhow, let me just jump into it. So I had the wonderful and the greatest privilege ever, I think, so far in my career as an entrepreneur. Started my own business in the financial services industry, particularly. And let me tell you, it has been nothing but amazing. When I say amazing, I mean, sometimes you think you go to college and you have everything set. Your professors are the top Ivy League, Harvard graduates. I mean, they're A-notch, top. I call it top-notch, A+ level up type quality and mentors. Now, one thing that you don't have in mind and that you don't keep in mind is that they're following a system and a curriculum that is intended to develop their system. It's not intended to develop you per se, only until a certain level. Only until the level where they deem that you are fit and you have been conditioned to work in their industry, which is higher learning, or I should say in society of higher learning. Why am I telling you this? Well, quite simply because I have decided, I want to say since 2023, to go full-fledged in this industry, in the business of finances. What does that mean? I am not doing any side hustle jobs. I'm not doing any 9 to 5, 8 to 5, yada, 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 yada. I am definitely all in. Now, maybe at first it may seem that I'm only doing this part-time, but it's because my condition, my mindset, the shift was not there. And even though I make the effort and try, old habits always creep in. But nonetheless, I'm determined, and I am still determined. I was determined then, and I'm still determined now, because I see the value, I see the significance, and I'm finally able to see beyond myself in the scope of life. And that is more important to me, and it has more value than any money that I could ever come across. Because I know that is just a tangible thing. But I'm looking for intangible. I'm looking for things that I can't touch, can't see. I just, value to me has to do with how I'm going to improve someone and how I'm going to make a difference in people's lives. Yeah, maybe it comes off the wrong way, but listen, when God plants something in you, it's your calling, it's your doing. So it doesn't matter what the outside world sees. It's just literally you being able to perform and follow through in that, what God calls you. So this is where I'm at right now. Okay, fast forward here and now, because we are in the here and now. So I had the privilege and the opportunity to take part in what we call let me just check my notes, Thrive 2025 VIP. And guess who was the host? Guess. I don't know if you guys know so much about this individual, but I didn't know so much about him either until 2023. Yeah. And fun fact, how did I get to know about him? Because at one of our events at PHP, PHP Agency and Integrity Company, we had one of our amazing guest speakers, and that was the very first time that I attended that particular type of event. We have 3 events that we host on a yearly basis with PHP Agency and Integrity Company. One of it is the main event, or the big event, which is hosted almost always, since I've been with the company, in Las Vegas, Nevada, and that's coming up August 4th through the 7th. So if you guys want to know more about that, just respond, DM me, get in touch with me, and then we could connect at that level as to how that works and what we can do to get you over there, to get you a seat. The events is usually 3 days. So, it's not nothing long, lengthy and drawn out. It's just 3 days. You get the knowledge, you get the information, you get the education, you get the what we call the build, and you just keep going, You make a decision, basically, because we don't want to keep people in limbo. We don't want to keep people stuck in the what if. So, the purpose of our events is to get you elevated, get you started, build your momentum, and then you decide what you want to do with that. All right. So then mid-year events in the summer. And then we have what we call big event in the summer, our mid-year event that is during the winter. And then we also have what we call a train the trainers, which is a specialized event. And that's by invitation only, in the sense that you would need to qualify. You will need to be an agent already of PHP Agency and Integrity Marketing Company for you to take part in our trainer trainers. So for the audience and for the public, if you've never been, if you don't know, this is your first time hearing about PHP Agency, then it will be 2 events. But for those agents that are familiar with us and know who we are, it's 3 events. Now, I want to back it up a little bit, because I know I'm throwing out a lot of information, but I want to back it up to the mid-year event. So in 2023, for the very first time, I got the chance to go to one of those mid-year events. I've heard about it. I had other agents. They're like, oh, yes, it was great. It was amazing. And mute. I'm like, tell me more. They're like, oh, we really can't tell you. It's one of those things that you have to go there and get the experience for yourself. And it's true. You definitely would have to go and experience what it is that it's about, because it's all about the individual, the self, personal developing. And it's something that you could take notes, but when it reaches your heart, when it reaches the soul, game over. So that's the part where they're like, you have to go and see for yourself. So then I got to go and see for myself in 2023. One of our guest speakers, one of our key speakers was dearly beloved, that I call dearly and beloved, Jeremy Minor. Why is he beloved to me? Because I finally got to hear it from someone that I could relate with. He was also in the science, and as far as psychology, he has a psychology background. He calls it behavioral science, and I was just freshly leaving from behavioral science. There are many components, but the idea is study how the mind works. So when he told me that, I was like, locked in, listening, all ears, because this is really a big deal. But the information that he was sharing, mind blowing. I mean, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to hear this, and then I got something else. But it was so entertaining and so humorous that I had to laugh, because his approach, 99% of the audience had no idea. They were either pissed off, excuse my language, they were confused, or they were like overwhelmingly overwhelmed because they did not know. So really, it's all pissed off or confused. Those are the 2 options. But with me, I had option 3, logic. And I have to say, thank God for that moment, because my logic skills up until that point was always being downplayed, and it's still being downplayed. But it was in my favor that I got a chance to see and get experience of the event and of that moment, and of him sharing and pouring into us from a logic standpoint. So I got, fell in love. I love the idea of his concept with especially with the neuro-emotional persuasion and questioning technique that he uses. And he also has a book that's called The New Sales Model. And in fact, give me a moment, I will present these things to you. First of all, I gotta feature him. He's like, oh my God, like I said, my beloved. All right, so this is the book. All right. 7th level, Jeremy Minor. All right. So that is the main book. But then, so I did decide to do a mini investment after the fact because he impressed on me that much. But fun fact, I'll share for you in a minute. Hold on. This is the book that I received from him. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. I'm not, just in effort to not offend anyone or to cause any unnecessary rift, I'm choosing at this moment not to tell you, you know, what was behind my laughter. But this is the book that I received. It's free. And look, got his signature. Oh, my bad. It was actually 2024. You see there? Look, it can't be 2024. How is it possible? No. Oh my God. Anyways, I'd have to reevaluate that. But okay, so it was a whole hoopla because this guy, he really left an impression on us when he was giving us the techniques and how to like approach your sales technique in any industry, in any business, practically any business and any industry. And it really does work. Okay. But the thing of it is that a lot of times we see things and hear things and we don't think that it works because our mind is conditioned a certain way. So, all right, to make things in a little nutshell, sum it up, I really have to show much gratitude and much appreciation to him because he has opened up my eyes and he has showed me he has shown me different ways on how to approach the industry, how to think in life, period. But then he also told me about a little nugget. And every time he does his presentation, he talks about this individual. Who is this individual? Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is my neighbor from down the bayou. I'm in Florida. He's also in Florida, which is even another connection because we have this little cultural thing. Every state has their own little niche, and it's good to know that I'm relating and learning from a fellow Floridian. So look at that, scientist, Floridian. Okay, so this guy, Mr. Tony Robbins, is amazing. But why am I bringing up this topic specifically on him is because him and his other partner, Lord have mercy, forgive me for my lack of discipline.